The Uplands Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Xperts, baby, UPX.
Welcome, fellow Uplanders, to another episode, actually episode 199 of the Upland Property Experts. I'm your host, Too Stupid to Win, and ThankMeLater is here after surviving a hellacious go live week, so appreciate that. You recovered yet, or are you still dealing with issues?
No, still dealing with issues. In fact, they wanted me to be on a call right now, and I told them I just got to wait for a little bit.
Don't get fired over this.
Ain't nobody firing me over this. I already got calls from all my leadership. We crushed it. I mean, it's been long. We've been working on this massive deployment for about 2 years for a split of a multi-billion-dollar company. It's the largest deployment of this kind that's ever been done in our ecosystem. And so being the architect and managing all of that for the last week, with 24/7 shifts to have two insanely huge multi-billion-dollar companies go live on our technology, with the support of people. It's been a lot. We're definitely not out of the woods yet. So yeah, I am probably going to be more than a little out of it. And it sucks because I missed our draft. I really didn't have time to get in on the Totem stuff as much as I wanted to. Like, there's been a lot. I was really hoping that I would have more time, but it has been nonstop with that. But no one's getting, if anything, I get promoted because we crushed it. But like, I was just like, I need some time. And so they actually think I'm sleeping right now. I was like, I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing, but I was like, I need to take a break, and I'll be back. So they think I'm sleeping, but obviously.
Yeah, this is pre-recorded. Well, you can do that. You can pre-record and schedule things to go live with StreamYard, so it's like you're live, but you're not really live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what do they know?
Well, we are live. I can see all of our people in chat. What's up, everybody? So glad we got
trying to hang yourself. I'm trying to give you outs, and you just
No. You know what? I've done my part. I've put in 100 hours, and so I am not worried about that at all. It is Thursday night. It's my night to talk with my people, my community, and my friends. So,
it's your community, your people, not ours. We didn't build this together. It's just you. All about you.
I'm talking about. Anyway, and you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Well, glad we got Eric Cassidy. We got the Hyde Park Ninja Boys in the house. JT Zilla's back. I missed you, girl. Where were you last week? I needed that face. I needed that positive energy. But I'm glad you're here now. Lily Field in the house. What up?
Oakloff Lobster.
Oakloff. What's up?
Yeah. Now we do a lot to cover. Since the last episode, we had the stock car release, and that was interesting in itself. The Totem sales, we had the Upland Fantasy League draft that TML missed. Wolf Warner helped fill in. You know, Mars was traveling, and he didn't have his stuff to stream, and you missed it. So it was. We tried to make do, but it wasn't as entertaining as when you're there to talk your randomness, and Mars is there. So.
Yeah,
next year, there's always next year. And Wolf, man, you guys thought I had problems. Got to check out Wolf Warner. Dude takes it to a different level than me. So,
no, and dude, Franklin, I need my boy Jason Burrow back. I need Jason. I don't feel good without my lucky charm.
And he even said it. He goes, "I'm drafting Jason Burrow just so ThankMeLater doesn't get him."
Dang, that's brutal. How you out there hate drafting?
He was hate drafting.
He hate drafted.
Absolutely. And then we got the market updates, and it's the beginning of a new month. So we have the sales data from last month, and we compiled that. I didn't get a chance to dive as deep as I wanted to, but we do have numbers. We do have things to look at.
Very cool.
So definitely we'll jump. Oh, and then also the Upland Racing League. They have a race tomorrow. They back from their 2-week hiatus, and they'll be racing tomorrow. Also, their speedway got approved, so definitely go stake on their speedway. Yeah, and they're working on building that out. Also, I'll throw this in the front of the episode. If you are into FanDuel and want to do a $5 little tournament on Sunday, go ahead, hit me up, send me a DM, because we got a little Upland Fantasy Addicts FanDuel League going on. $5 entry fee. Top 3 teams take home prize money. So, and if you're not part of FanDuel, let me know and I'll get you a referral code so we can get both bonus deposits.
All right. Is that just another place where you go to lose at Fantasy League? Because that's all you do in the main league. So.
You win 1 year and you think you're the greatest.
I mean, you don't win any year and you seem to think you're pretty good. So
I won the year before you.
I don't know about that.
You don't. It's right there. There's proof. there is proof on the internet that is there.
Hey,
I do know that.
All I know is who's the last champion. That's it. Like, when did you win last? Was it before me? Well, then get up on it. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
We'll get up on it. Season kicked off. It's going on right now. So we'll definitely get up on that. All right, let's get into this because I know we got a lot to discuss.
Disney's out of control today, man.
All right.
Right now.
Market update. September 7th, 2023. Top 10 city floors in Upland. Comparing prices from this week to last week. Pretty solid week on the UpX floor. Not real much going on. Santa Clara, there was a deep discount last week and it jumped back up this week. Or I fat fingered something in doing the data.
Yeah, interesting to see Santa Clara. It's a nice bump on Santa Clara. And the Arlington seemed to that's probably, maybe that's an anomaly.
Somebody selling cheap to get out.
If that's,
it was one property.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you capture the data as is. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Who's playing tonight? Is that like a sports ball question?
Yeah, it's a sports ball question.
Oh,
and
people play today? It's Thursday.
Yeah. Oilers versus Supersonics. That's a great guess, Umbrella Boy.
Man, that sounds like almost like a dinner order. Something oily from Supersonics. Detroit versus Kansas. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Shaq hooked you up.
I didn't even know Kansas City had a football team. Oh, wait. Are they the Chiefs?
Yes, they're the Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Imagine that. Now, I know you're going to be sad. San Francisco, the Genesis City, has fallen out of the top 5. They are now number 6. Tokyo surpassed them. And they also dropped a little.
You know what, though? I'm okay with that from a total floor perspective because I want Upland to keep up in the floor, right? So you might see that, like, and I can appreciate San Francisco and you go, oh, well, it's dropped. That's not a bad thing in my mind because since it's a newer city, I want them to release more and more expensive cities because as those cities have floors that are higher than San Francisco, that should encourage the floor of San Francisco to start getting up there as well. So when we look at the actual markups, like I can guarantee that Tokyo's not sitting at a 2 to 5x markup like most of the properties in San Francisco are. So again, the floor just in a solid number and not with a markup might be a little misleading here. And in fact, I view this as good. I would expect Tokyo's floor to be higher than San Francisco, just like I expected London's to be higher than San Francisco's. That's what I want. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, you could buy properties in San Francisco for 500 UpX. And you could buy a lot of them for less than 5,000 UpX. Like there was tons of sub 5,000 UpX properties in San Francisco. So like I want the new tier 1 cities to be in that 20, 30, 35,000 floor, because that will ultimately drive San Francisco up. So, I mean, you can see it actually went up in US dollar, a little bit down in UpX, but not significantly enough that I would be worried about it. So yeah.
And I got to go check the formula, what happened there. London's UpX floor price is 36,890. That's not Rutherford's. For some reason, that didn't follow London when, I don't know. I'll look into it, but yeah. I was just looking at that and that's wrong. But London's at 36,890. Santa Clara's at 26,990. So it's kind of off. I had to do the data this week. Justin had work meetings, and I totally get that. So, and then I was trying to get some other data.
Boy asked a great question that I think we could field here. Be curious your thoughts. I obviously have opinions. Unless you're making a treasure map, why would you buy floor properties? Too stupid. What do you think? Why? Is that a true statement? Or you say, yeah, unless you're making a treasure map, don't buy floor? What are your thoughts?
To me, it's not about buying the floor prices. It's about buying the best deals. Some people just don't know, and they search for an area that has, they just click on it and search for the cheapest property in the area, and they go ahead and buy it. There's amazingly people that still don't know about a lot of the third-party tools like UpX World out there to help you find the deals. So one, it's not knowing that there's tools out there because they're not involved in Twitter or Discord or anything like that. They just log in and collect their UpX. So that could be one reason you're buying the floor, other than making your treasure maps. And a lot of people are quitting that now. And I actually saw that. I saw a decrease in my sends, the amount of UpX I was earning from my sends last month for the month of August. It actually, my earnings for the month dropped for the first time in a very long time. I've been being steady or slightly increasing, and it was plus or minus just a little bit, but it was a significant, well, I wouldn't say a significant drop last month, but you could tell it was affected because not as many people were treasure hunting.
Interesting. So we got some of our audience has chimed in. I'll pull up some of their comments here. Keith says people pulling out money. So I guess flipping the UpX floor for cash. So that might be a reason to buy the UpX floor for cash. Ocliff says that they pretty much only deal with the floor unless they are looking for yields. Lily's Field says future sales are easier and better profit margins. Often also got a shout out. More cheese, our girl, more cheese in the house.
More cheese in the house.
And Zany Sock says, I'll buy the floor and flip for USD when I want to get cash out of the game. Our boy Zaddy D, increasing overall up square in various cities, might like properties IRL, some send fees, get some yield, neighborhoods node, participation. Funky Beach says, no, treasure maps. And so honestly, I think that those are all really valid points. I definitely think that being on the floor is probably the highest turnover, and the easiest kind of sell, because again, not everybody uses the third parties. If you just kind of search an area and do cheapest, that's what you're going to find. So from a visibility and sales perspective, those are likely going to have higher churn. If you are buying the floor, it's kind of like a stock, right? Like if you think about it, if you shift your thinking in floor properties are kind of like buying stock in a city. So when you're buying it, you're saying, hey, on the floor, if I buy a property for, this is how I think about it, I should say. So if I'm buying properties in San Francisco for 17,000 UpX, do I think long-term that it's going to sell for more, like that floor is going to rise? If I think it is, then I might invest in that and say, hey, I'm going to buy the shares in San Francisco right now at a minimum of 17,000 UpX, something like that, is just another way to look at it. But I think everything that was said is very valid and some great insights onto why people do that.
Absolutely. And thanks for everybody's comments. That really helped. That was a great question and great community participation.
Yeah, I love that. I liked buying backwards houses and flipping them.
There are backward houses.
I I appreciate like the syntax of that sentence just being a little funny, of like buying backwards houses and flipping them. Like, do you flip the back? Like, you're not buying the house and then flipping it so it's forward. You're saying you flip it as anyway. Well done, like Ninja. That. I see what you did there.
We see that.
I see you, Ninja.
And it's too late. It's too late. I was looking for that. We see you.
You're right on with people unaware of info out there. Yeah. And again, so that's definitely that's a huge factor, is why the floor is always going to be a nice place to play with high turnover, because that's before anybody knows about any third-party sites, boop, it's right there.
Holy poop. Yes, yeah, that's a great buy something for $4 and be able to flip it for $13,669. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and so that's definitely, I like the idea from a USD to UpX. Like, that's a great way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, this is August 2023, top UpX sales per city. We have the total transactions along with the total sales in UpX value. Of course, Tokyo secondary market, they had the Thrifty Trader. Tokyo was released, so of course, you're going to see a huge spike there at almost 237 million UpX in total volume. And then the next one is Los Angeles, just at about 83.5 million. And they have, that's still a high volume, 3,728 transactions. And Queens had 3,400 transactions. Yeah, I know. I was rushed doing it. I will fix it next time.
No, so it is. That is really kind of cool to see from an LA perspective. That's a tremendous amount of volume going through there, even though it's one of the older tier 1 cities, right? LA was kind of, I think, like the last big tier 1 that got released in
February 22.
Well, in the US, was there a big tier 1 in the US since LA?
Not after LA. We've been international.
Yeah, so that's, to me, I like to see that. I know we give LA kind of crap for being really unminted still, but there are some incredibly powerful nodes in LA. Shout out to Hyde Park Ninjas among the many. And so it doesn't surprise me to see that transaction volume and their total sales be high. And the thing is, it's not burners. So like when I look at Detroit with like 4,400 or Sao Paulo at 3,000, even Chicago, like those are going to be a lot of burner properties. I feel like it's not going to be nearly as much like juicy deals, right? Or like, look at Manhattan, 181. So like a fraction of the number of transactions, but still making it up there in total volume. Like say it's got what, 1/10 of Rio de Janeiro's total transaction volume, but 95% of the sales volume, which to me, again, mirrors the reality that Manhattan, super high prices, but very slow moving, right? 181 total transactions is a very small number. So if you are investing, and I'm using air quotes here because I hate the I word in relationship to this game, but if you are investing in Manhattan, just know that that's probably going to be a slower turnover than some other places.
Absolutely. And I know the one that everybody wants to see is the US dollars.
Oh.
So Nothing surprising. Tokyo clearing $63,000 with their 1,816 transactions.
Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. Can you go back to the previous slide real quick?
Yeah. So they had 10,000 total transactions.
So that is total UPX transactions. I'm only saying that because Manhattan, it's weird that Manhattan had 181 UPX transactions and exactly 181 USD transactions.
I know. I thought it was kind of interesting.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, no, so that's what I was seeing. That was the only number I had remembered.
They had a 191. So
191.
They had 10 more US dollar sales than UPX sales.
Gotcha. Okay. Still, again, the smallest number by far among any of them, and yet one of the highest total sales. I like to see that. LA again crushing it, almost 3,000. But Tokyo, that's kind of cool. Like if you look at Tokyo versus LA definitely is one of the cities that I think their USD is like 45% of mint or something, right? Like that's one of the cities that sells consistently for USD significantly under mint for flips. So that doesn't surprise me either, but it's also good to know, hey, 46 grand of volume out of LA. Like that's not shabby in a month.
No, not at all. And then, and if you look at it, there were 14,806 USD transactions on the secondary market in the month of August. And they ended up having a grand total of $232,656.41 in US dollar transactions.
And what was the total USD number of transactions?
14,806.
So think about that, 14,000, and how many active players do we think we're at?
It says there's about between 22 and 27,000 unique wallets interact in a 24-hour period.
Yeah, so I mean, it is interesting. I mean, when you think about like the number, I mean, that means on average, like 1 out of like every 2 people is doing USD transactions. 1 of every 2 active players is actually participating in USD sales, right? That's really good to me. Like, I like seeing that. And that's kind of surprising when you think 14,000 USD transactions. And then you look at something like the Totem sales or any of these other bigger sales that have like about 1,000 items available. Like you have still a significant portion of people that are really heavily involved in property trading, buying and selling, like the core functionality of Upland at a significantly higher volume than are maybe starting to do some of these secondary features like racing and the totems and stuff like that.
And we see Detroit made the top 10 in total sales value. We know burners were running through Detroit. That's usually the go-to city for burners, but still not bad. The average sale with, if you divide the over $230,000 in sales and divide that by the total transaction numbers, the average transaction is $15.71
across all cities.
Across all cities for the month of August.
I mean, that's huge because when we look at it, I think when we talk about USD sales and when we think about especially like burners and some of the smaller properties, I think most people are assuming, like me, that you're going to get $3 for your properties. Well, based on the numbers, on average, you will get a lot more depending on what you have. So that's really encouraging. I think your average transaction volume would definitely be something or the average transaction value would actually be a very interesting stat to kind of track over time. So I definitely like that. I think we should definitely track that.
Yeah, I'm collecting that data right now. Working with Lil Bob. Manhattan had the highest average sale price at $141.55.
That makes sense.
It does. And then even though, and I know they're not buying burners in London, the average sale price there was $53.23.
Wow.
Yeah. And Tokyo's average price was $34.82.
What about San Fran?
San Fran's average was $18.72.
Okay, so slightly above average, above the larger average. But again, I go, considering the original mint price, you know what would be an interesting thing is if we took all of the properties and then figured out what the average cost per up square was per city.
Ooh.
Because then that could tell us, like, because I'm curious what the average cost per original mint per up square was for all of San Francisco versus Manhattan versus LA versus Tokyo versus London, right? Like we should see that the average cost per up square continue to increase. And I don't know that we've ever actually done that, but that would actually be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If somebody wants to do that, I will give somebody a test tube statue. If somebody goes and just gives me the average cost per up square of every city.
Oh, crap. I forgot to give out. We announced the winners last week. Forgot to give out some prizes this week. So some people did hit me up. Yeah. Oh, you owe 2 OG anvils anyway, but 2 test tubes, by the way.
Yep. Just have them send them.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is, if you want to look at the median sales price in San Francisco, it was $8. Median sale price in Manhattan was $39.90. And in London, you were looking at a median sale price of $28.74.
Yeah. I wonder how many San Francisco properties have never been sold or traded. Interesting. That's, again, like that is technically a stat we could probably figure out. So you could figure out like essentially number of properties that have had no transactions other than the original mint. I'd be curious, what would that tell you? I guess how many people are hodling?
I don't know. I have to think on that. And I did forget to mention when we were on the UpX slide that 31,073 transactions on the secondary market happened in August in UpX for a grand total of 745,053,861 UpX.
And what was the average UpX? Well, it's not that. I don't think that that's a true statement, Umbrella Boy, because for instance, I don't know how many San Francisco properties.
I own 1,000 San Francisco properties.
Yeah, I mean, I own, I believe, a couple thousand San Francisco properties, and most of them are ones that I originally minted. So it's
TM owns almost all of VV, and he still plays.
Yeah,
and that's
so like
2,000 or 3,000.
It's kind of a hard metric because I mean, you're probably right. A lot of the OGs are holding San Francisco down.
Dizzy bought some OGs out, so he holds a lot in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You could look at UpX World and see the top 25 property holders.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to tell you like who's hodling, right? Because there's some new players that came in and started buying in aggressively. I mean, it's really just who's the OGs, right? Like I can tell you, for instance, the Turbo, who isn't like super active. He's like the number one holder of
2019.
The inaugural properties, right? Yeah, the 2019. So he was like one of the OGs, and I think he owns like 80% or something of all of the inaugural 2019 properties. And so
Recurrier, June, Z Hidalgo, you got some big holders there. Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah. Kent. Is Kent in there?
Oh yeah. He had a bunch of San
Which
Fran.
one of those don't I like? Which one? Who are those? I always mix them up.
Kent. You don't like Kent.
I don't like Kent. Oh, that's right. Because Kenny is the EOS writer anyway. I like Kent. Just for the record, I don't actually not like Kent, but I was trying to think like he was the one that we had like beef with.
Yeah.
He was, because wasn't he super greedy on the
on the landmarks where you had
landmarks.
He got 3 landmarks in San Francisco. He worked his way into 3 landmarks. He was buying votes.
Yeah, that's right.
He was buying votes.
Yeah. What percentage of active players were around during the mint of San Francisco?
I'd say, ooh.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that it was probably, I mean, we could probably see how many accounts were created I mean, the thing is, it took San Francisco a little while to mint out.
Yeah, it did.
Because it took until Manhattan. So like until after Manhattan.
It was after Manhattan. It was during the New York boroughs releases.
Yeah. So like like a lot of people were there during, like, I think like that is a true, you know what though? That is kind of that might be like the new cutoff of like, are you an OG? Like, that's how you know if you're an OG. Did you mint
San Francisco?
Did you mint San Francisco? Do you have are you an original minter of a San Francisco property? Honestly, Upland, badge opportunity. Just saying. Badge opportunity. Did you mint a property in San Francisco? I think we deserve a Genesis minter badge or something. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Show some love for the players who got in early on the OG city. Let's go.
I mean, and then to myself and ThankMeLater, there's OGs to us that were there in November, December of 2019. You know, the Turbo, Dizzy, Kenny, you know, a lot,
yeah. Mr. Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Like the OGs, like the original 21 club. Like
Green Turtle. I mean, you still had Green Turtle, Stirs Marlin.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Green Turtle still active. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is kind of funny to think about. You know, when we joined, we were like, oh, I almost felt behind because I remember like fighting to catch up to some of these guys of like, oh man, they were like really, you know, some impressive stuff and some really cool stuff. So yeah, I would say, I think that's the new status. I think at this point, if you minted in San Francisco, if you can wear that cap that I minted in San Francisco before it sold out, you're an OG at this point.
Yeah, that still puts you, I think it was like mid 2021, you know, probably around this time, 2021, that San Fran sold out.
Yeah. Because wait, was it before? It was definitely before Genesis. Was it before
after Genesis?
The first in-person Genesis week?
Yes, it was after the first in-person Genesis week.
Huh.
No. They only had 2 in-person Genesis weeks. So it was before the first in-person Genesis week.
Oh, yeah. Because the first Genesis week, when they give away the Genesis property.
Yep, with the rings.
Would not have been in person.
Yeah.
So it was after that.
Yep. So you had the 2020 Genesis week, the 2021 Genesis week. San Fran sold out. You had the 2022 Genesis week, and we just had 2023.
Gotcha.
Little history.
Yeah, no, I like that. And yeah, shout out. I think we have everybody's in agreement that there should be an OG badge because they have the founder badge. So if you minted one of the 2019 like inaugurals, you got a founder's badge, which is super cool. I don't think either one of us have that badge.
Nope.
It's a really cool crown. So yeah, Upland, if you're listening, the community is around giving an OG style badge or something to players who minted. Oh, you know what? Upland should offer a badge for each city if you mint in it before it sells out.
Ooh. You just want more badge. Well, you haven't minted in a lot of cities, so you'd be missing. You would be threatened with your top badge holder status if they did that.
I think, well, what cities are sold out?
Well, that's true.
I think I've minted in most.
Yeah, because you got the partial releases.
Yeah, so maybe not, but definitely San Francisco. I'm on board. I think that there should be an OG badge of some kind. Recognize players that minted in San Francisco before it sold out. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a lot of badges. That's fair.
Yeah, top 3 places to take advantage of buying for US dollar and selling for UPX. That would be Arlington, London, and Tokyo. I'm going to breeze through a couple of these really quick because we've been on the secondary market for 34 minutes. Well, not about 30 minutes. Lowest places, Detroit, Rio, Rutherford. Easiest place to buy for UPX and sell for US dollar. But Rutherford will be a little slower.
Oh, that's true. We always forget Fresno. because that the Fresno release actually locked a bunch of San Francisco properties in for FSA. When they announced FSA, they like made a handful of San Francisco properties FSA. It's interesting. They're Lily Field in there saying that their hubby got in late, but those FSA, they got in some spots. So that's interesting.
Nice. And then the floor cities, Detroit's the only one under 5,000 UPX. Everybody's at the $3 holler for the US dollar floor.
Holla.
And everything's green.
Hey, we like green.
Yep. Oh. All right. So stock cars, the bundles were released. They went quicker than I thought they were going to go.
They went quick. They were a hot commodity. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. Wrong way. They had the different tiers, the 50 at $50. That was going kind of slow. And I thought, wow, they priced that really well. The 50,000 UPX, they were moving at a decent pace, but there were only 50. And that's the guaranteed Stock Car Pro Series Pass, which guarantees you a stock car. And then it also gives you the 30% chance for a driver block Explorer. And great pack to get. And you had 6 items per bundle. And I missed out on both of them. I got a Stock Car Pro box, and then I got a couple starters, and then I picked up a handful of essentials. I was not lucky enough to get a pass, and I actually spent more than I budgeted for it, because after our show last week, I really understood, the impact, the utility, and being the first in Upland, that these things were finally relevant.
Yeah, I did not get lucky in my queues at all. I think I got an essentials and a starter pack. I don't even think I got a pro, and I definitely didn't get a stock car pass. I have since bought 2 of the driver block Explorers in the secondary market, just from pure speculative perspective.
What was the markup on it?
A lot. I think I was paying like $200,000 for them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But it could be worth it.
Yeah, I don't think it will be, but I just wanted to have them just in case. I'm not going nuts on it. I got 2. I don't feel great about how much I paid for them, especially considering there is a huge amount of them. Each one only has like 30, between like 30 and 40, I think. But there's like, I don't know, 15 of them or something. So the total number is still fairly high. They haven't officially announced any actual utility for them or how it'll interact. So it's very speculative that it'll have some like additional benefit to racing specifically for stock cars. I haven't picked up any of the passes. Have you looked at any of the passes on the secondary market? Like, what are those going for?
That's on my list to do tomorrow. So yeah, that's on my list to do.
What about
tomorrow.
The audience? You got Cheese got lucky and got a pass. Does anybody know what the passes are going for on average? Like, are there different? I haven't even looked at like what kind of passes there are. I assume that it's 150. Disney's saying 150,000 for a pass. All right,
that's not bad.
Oh, $150.
Oh,
so that's probably like 250,000 UPX then.
Yeah,
gotcha. Oh, the pass says it's good for a memento, spotlight, or a chance to buy a car.
Ooh.
Now that's interesting. So like if you turn it in, like you either get a memento, a spotlight, or a car spot. Like here's your ticket to buy a car. That's interesting.
Now I was worried. Goldsmith says Upland only get me one of those bundles. Queuing system hates me. I was first in line for the Stock Car Pro, and I was like, great, I'm going to miss out on the totems. And I haven't been first in line for anything in Upland since they went to the queue system. So I was like excited, but then I'm like, great, I'm going to miss on totems. But then I ended up getting first in line for the UPX totem.
Must be nice.
Hey, It was a little victory. Wanted to celebrate.
Oh, hey,
Jeez.
man. Congratulations. That's awesome. So I would, or I assume we're going to talk about the totems.
Yeah.
next.
We'll talk about that next. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is cool. I'm trying to warm up to the stock car series stuff. I think we're definitely getting to a point where, and I mean, I think we've been there for a while, where you can't do everything in Upland. Like, you're going to have to start picking the activities you are interested in, what kind of legit you want to follow, what kind of sports, what kind of racing, what kind of things. Like, I don't think it's going to be possible for everyone to keep up with everything. It's not, it first of all, it gets very expensive and time consuming. So,
Hey, Jose.
What up?
Oh, first
Get it.
line there. Love
it.
Why am I echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
What? You got a stock car driver pro too? Jeez, crushing it, Cheese.
Nice, Cheese. Yeah, absolutely. So this is something to continue to follow and watch, and watching how this provides more utility and actually something to do. Mystery Pass Sale, Chapter 1, September 4th. It was delayed. They really didn't say too much about the delay other than, hey, it was delayed and it went off smooth. I was actually surprised at the rate that they were going by. I thought it was going to go quicker. And to me, I know in our text thread earlier leading up to the sale, we were concerned that there weren't going to be enough, that the Upland really messed up with the estimate of 5,555. And
I don't know about that. I don't know that I was saying that they really messed up. I was worried in general. Like, it did feel like not enough. I don't know, drastically lower, but definitely concerned, especially when we saw the wait times, right? Like, the wait times came out, and like, I don't think anyone had a wait time more than like an hour after the sale that I saw. I don't know if anybody captured a non-registration wait time. So if you didn't register, what your wait time was. But I was surprised at the wait time seemed relatively low. Like, in the car ones, we were seeing things in the days, right?
Right.
So I don't know if they like tweaked their algorithm or what, but I will say, I think majority of people,
it could be the pricing.
I think it hit the right. I like that pricing. I like it and I don't, because it's one of those things where, like, if you just, and you look at the holistic of Upland, like 50,000 UpX, $50 US, like, that feels like, oh, hey, that's like a solid middle. But then when I stop and take a step back outside of our Upland bubble, right? So here's the thing that we put our Upland lens on and go, 50,000 UpX, that's nothing, especially when some of us make, $1 million plus a month. And $50, like, we're like, oh, $50. Well, crap, we paid $2,000 for a car, right? Like, $50 doesn't seem like a lot. But then when you go outside of the Upland ecosystem, $50 is what I paid for Diablo 4. Like, wait, hold up. That's how much I paid for an entire AAA video game. Like, and we're talking about one item of a subset of a game. So, like, when you put it in that perspective, you're like, oh, holy cow, you're buying an entire video game worth of value in a single item. So yeah, probably selling that is going to be a little like that's.
And what I think that price did, it just wasn't something where it's, everybody can get one and people aren't going to pay attention and nurture it to create the protem and develop it that way. This gives the ability of people that are actually going to be active, taking care of it. And because remember, this is an experiment. Upland is trying to figure out how STEM is going to work in the future. And this is part of their experiment. They need people interacting and working on these cycles, and that's going to help develop the future of the game. I saw some ridiculous posts on Facebook that there's going to be 19,000 of it and it's a ripoff and they're going to be useless. But you're part of Upland history right here. You're helping to develop the future of the game with how you're going to treat your totem.
Yeah. And also, there's some things that I don't think we've talked enough about that I think are really understated in this scenario. So from a pass perspective specifically, so these mystery passes, one thing we don't know yet is when you turn in your pass, you're going to get your totem. With that totem, you're also going to get a preset amount of protem. Now, what I'm interested to know is when you trade the totem, does that like let's say it came with one totem and one protem. When you trade the totem, does that base amount of protem go with it? Because I think logically, if it mirrors STEM, it won't, which is very interesting. Because then in theory, because you didn't open any of these mystery packs and you get a totem, you might not be able to activate, or it could take a lot longer for it to activate. And so that's going to be interesting. And then just from the fact that when you redeem one of those passes, you're going to get the totem and a preset amount of protem, which we know Upland has said will convert 1-to-1 to the life token once that's there. So what are you doing?
Clicking things.
Jeez, old Pete. And so I do think just from that perspective, it's probably worth the 50, especially in UpX. Like I bought one. So for me, I know a lot of our listeners were able to get both a USD and an UpX one, which is awesome. Congrats. I was only able to buy a USD one. I did shell out the money. When I stopped to think about it, it kind of hurt a little bit of like, oh, this is an entire video game worth of, paying for this. But at the end of the day, like I'm buying them heavily marked up in UpX now, but I think I have 3 or 4. I'll probably try to grab a couple more for this release before they get converted. But yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great analogy, and a way to think about it is the price of the video game, and interesting to see just how it all plays out. There's going to be 4 more releases after this. I was surprised at how many people were able to get 2 and how many people came so close to getting 3 on the initial sale.
Yeah, which again, kudos to the Upland team. I mean, I think at least a lot of us from the show were kind of like skeptical, like, man, but when you stop again, like for us, the $50 range is something we are very comfortable paying. But when you think about trying to convince 1,000 people to pay $50 for a single item, you're definitely not going to get as many speculators who are just buying and trying to flip them, because it's a big chunk for people. So I do think the price and the volume is probably right on par. The markups right now I'm seeing are like $100 and 150,000 UpX, I think, something like that. So it is kind of a high markup. It'll be very interesting to see as the chapters are revealed and as the functionality and things get revealed, what happens to the price of not only these pieces, but also of the future sets, right? Because I suspect that the market will quickly saturate, and depending on how complex the mechanics are of converting and doing the actual protem activity and how tedious that is, I think that's going to impact heavily on how much people want to keep buying.
You see, the fans like the beep.
No, Cheese likes the beep because she's a troll and she loves trolling me.
Does your totem die if you don't maintain it?
No. So
no,
Upland answered
but
that.
you're
It doesn't
not
die. It just becomes inefficient.
Yes.
So as I understand it, like if you're able to keep up with its maintenance, it will produce the maximum like optimal amount of Totem for it, which again, we haven't seen all of the variations, but my guess is if I just look at standard gaming mechanics, it would be like your fuel tank. So how much Totem you can put in, the rate at which it converts your Totem through, the efficiency. So if it goes like 1-to-1 or 1-to-0.5, and then the results tank probably. So how often you have to click it. I would imagine that those are going to be some of the characteristic variations we see, but
and
I hope I do a good job of raising my I love you are yes you there you go. Love
and they've talked about there's only going to be about 3 cycles, and it's still subject to change, but
total cycles are like 3 cycles that cycle between
3 cycles for the Totem. That's their initial. Then it's inert.
Oh,
it's a pretty long decor. Because remember, it's an experiment. And
no, I know. I'm just trying to think like that changes my evaluation, my value on them quite a bit.
But how long's a cycle? You don't know. Is it 2 weeks?
It doesn't matter. I mean, 3 cycles. Okay. No, that's interesting.
And it's subject to change, of course, as they're collecting data on the way that the people are interacting with it.
Yeah. Lev from Facebook. Shout out to our Facebook fans. Hey, Lev. Market is currently hot. Totem, stock car, passage, driver, explorers, lots going on. Indeed.
30-day cycles. Is that somewhere, or is that your speculation? But it makes sense because the moon cycles in 28 to 30 days, and then other things cycle.
All right, calm down there. Next thing you know, you're going to be trying to sell us your magic crystals.
Let's see. 3 30-day cycles guaranteed. After the 3rd cycle, they may do additional cycles of varying lengths.
There we go. Thank you, Goldsmith.
Okay, it is on the wiki. I missed that part.
There we go.
Thank you, Goldsmith, for doing better research than us.
Very good. Be sure to check Goldsmith out. Are you still do Upland Cafe? You still in the Upland Cafe?
He's still in the Upland Cafe, and oh crap, I got to lock down a time with him for tomorrow. Crap. It's been a hellacious week. Just between work, fantasy football drafts. I was initially going to stream with the ninjas tomorrow night. I'm like, dude, I haven't helped my wife put the kids to bed, and I go to bed and she's asleep. So doing 5 days of this in a row might not be the best. And then I know Goldsmith and I were talking about doing interviews. And we were talking about Saturday, and I never got back to him.
Podcast now. Wow.
Yeah, he does full length interviews, 1-on-1, 60 to 90 minutes. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. It's supposed to be interviewing Saturday? I don't know.
Yeah.
How your NyQuil works. Yes. Pro parenting tips. Pro parenting tips from Cheese. Is your kid bothering you? Tried NyQuil?
And if you were an 80s baby, it was Dimetap.
Oh, I could taste it. I could feel it. I feel it stick in the back of my throat. Burns so good.
Grape Dimetap.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Next thing up to talk about. Let's get the next thing.
For the record, knowing the 30-day cycles, the 3 30-day cycles is actually really interesting. I'm not going to be buying any more totems.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase. Hold on. I'm likely not going to be buying any more totems for this chapter. Like, I think I'll probably cap it at like 3 or 4 per. The other thing is one of our data sleuths. Now we don't know if this is how it's going to end or what, but I believe they said that 75% of the totems currently minted have been Dragonfly. and 25% have been palm tree. So that will be interesting to see if that is like, in my mind, I thought it would be 50-50 of both. But if one is significantly rarer than the other, it will be interesting to see if that means that they produce more or if it's just like a collectability thing.
What will you do with the stem stuff? You're not getting stem right away. Your protum will become stem, and then that's life, trees, animals, anything living.
Yeah, so stem is the spark equivalent for living objects. So just how we need spark to create inanimate objects such as cars, buildings, and I think they use it to like mint block explorers, ornaments, outdoor decor, map assets, those things. We will need stem to mint things like trees. So
water features, trees, yeah, stuff like that.
Anything living. So it'll be for living objects.
Yep. All right. Next thing.
And all y'all in chat, all thirsty about your totem jokes. Yes. Yes. Please.
It rhymes.
Garden around your totem. If you cut the grass, your totem will look bigger. And apparently Cheese likes bald totem. All right.
NFLPA legit sales. Not happening.
Well, that's a little miss. All right. All right there. Oh my God. I wanted to throw a dig at him and I just spaced on his name. Who's our
nice
Doyle? Yeah. All right there, Doyle. Calm down with the clickbait. Like
damn. Damn. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And then you got Dizzy in the back.
Dizzy's like,
He did the whole old school like snap thing.
Let's go.
All right. So the season started today. Football's back. And then today, due to new mechanics with legits this season, we're working with the NFLPA to get approvals as quickly as possible. However, we don't expect to have our first sale until a few weeks into the season. We'll have an announcement with specific dates and details as soon as we're able. That was the announcement released today. I think they need to, it would have been better if they released an article with a little more details and a little more that they can explain, because the legit mechanics have been changed for a while. Did they initially reach out to them? Is it a long process? Is it a legal thing? Provide us the whys, just not a message the day that the season happens.
My guess is they can't. I think that some of us, and I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just not going to, but we heard some activities that happened that might be affecting some relationships with this. I don't want to speculate from that perspective, but it does make sense that could be causing the friction here. I think the new mechanics, if I had to guess, are going to be relating to moving from a redemption process where you go to the stadia. I think they like the mystery pass system. I think that has been.
They wanted to do the bundles. I know they wanted to move the bundles because a lot of people don't understand. I would like to see them do both of them, where you can go to the stadium and buy the players you want, but also for the inexperienced, you just get the bundles where it opens up like the stock cars just did.
Yeah, so I mean that will be interesting how they change that. I mean, we're still waiting on the core like replica mechanics. So maybe there's something like if I was hopeful, I would be hoping that it's because they wanted to do something with the replica mechanics, or that they wanted to do something with more likeness. Like there's a tiny chance that maybe it's because they're going to expand the relationship, and maybe they got the deal to do more like the team logos and stuff. Who knows? I don't think that's it.
The NFL owns the IPs to the team logos, so it would have to be a deal with the NFL to use those.
I mean, imagine that they were in talks with them and said, hey, maybe we could, like, I think that would be on this insanely optional, like optimistic side. I don't think that's actually what's happening. That would be really cool if it was. I think reality is that there are some other things at play in that relationship. They are still waiting to figure that out. And I think they probably will tweak it to be more of the mystery pack, because I think a lot of the mementos last year went unclaimed and unsold because it was so hard to get a price point that I think that they felt comfortable with. So I would not be surprised if they switched it to be like the mystery pass process where you redeem it for like a different thing.
And that's kind of where they're going. It sounds like is just doing the bundles, and the mystery pass helps people to trade on secondary more. If you only buy what you want, the secondary market is greatly depressed. That's a good point there, Goldsmith.
Yeah, and I think that's what that's what they saw very quickly, is that kind of thing. Because players like me, I don't know enough to go in and strategically buy things, right? Like, so for a person who doesn't intimately know the sport, it's very intimidating, right? Like, I don't know anything about any of these sports that are going on. But if you give me a chance to just buy a mystery bundle where I can get something that's super cool and valuable, I'll probably do it. The great example is literally the first sale of Legits. I went as hard as I ever did for Legits because I could just buy those bundles, and I got some footballs and things that were really valuable that I was like, cool. I would have never known to buy this. So I think that the mystery bundle is really the way to go for collectibles. Best way to learn about sports is to gamble. I mean, I would think to research and or play the sport would be other opportunities, but sure. Maybe gamble.
There is that too. Cheese was killing baseball. She was talking to us about that backstage last week. Killing it.
That's not what Moneyball means, though. That's a different thing.
All right, moving on from there. MetaVentures Variety Legit Shop. They opened up.
Get it.
The same day that the totems were selling and arriving in people's, and that was pretty cool. Even before everything was sold out, your totem passes were arriving. And then the Variety Legit shops were opening up. They announced this 2 weeks ago-ish. And people applied and they accepted the applications. They opened up and they started processing the Variety Legits right away.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, the mechanics are there. So we're starting to see, again, once you get the baseline mechanics, being able to kind of like churn out like just like different styles of things from a technical perspective becomes a lot easier, right? You've already kind of solved your big blockchain like minting issues. How are you managing the assets, especially for like legits, which do not require like placement on a property. So it operates a whole lot closer to like block explorers and the other legits. So it makes way sense that there's that. I do need to find somebody who has one of these shops, and I want to find the dirt cheap. I want to find dirt cheap Halloween ones. I wonder how cheap the Halloween ones are, because I kind of want to buy them. Come to my shop. Shaq, where's your shop at?
Detroit.
I'm going to fly there right now. So here you go. If you are here, wait, do they let you do like the thing where you sell at somebody else's shop?
Yeah.
So what is, I wonder how much people are trying to sell the old, I'll have to go look it up. But if
it depends, I've seen a wide variety on your Spirit Halloween things that you really love.
The Spirit of Halloween things. That's so. And let's see, where would I want to fly to? New York? I'm in Tokyo.
I think you can fly to Chicago from Tokyo.
Oh, ORD. Nice. Boop. Wait, it's in Detroit.
Yeah. Can you fly to Detroit? No. I don't think so.
No.
I think they just have a train station, but you can train from Chicago to Detroit.
I'll fly to Chicago and I'll get to Detroit. So, go to international terminal. Jeez, yes, go. Also, Upland, your CAPTCHA is going bonkers. Is
Oh
it
yeah,
just,
it's
is it
been
just
bonkers.
me?
No, it's been bonkers for a while.
I
And
yeah.
yep, absolutely right. Goldsmith variety shops were a fast turnaround, and there were no new mechanics, like ThankMeLater said, and you can just launch them at adventures in weeks. And that that shows you once they have things figured out how quickly they can turn stuff around. You still have a process with your ornament shops and your map asset shops, but they're still working through that. And but this gives you hope that as they iron out the technology behind these things, you're able to turn things around faster.
Yeah. So if you are selling cheap spirit legits or want to sell me some cheap spirit legits, I will be doing all of my transactions through Shacklin's legit shop in 19512 Livernois Avenue in Detroit. There you go. So if you are selling some cheap spirit legits, if you want to negotiate with me before you list them, please do, because I don't know how much they're going for, and I don't plan on paying a lot for them because they're garbage, but they're just kind of fun for me, for burners. I like using them as burners, so I'm buying them with the intent of using them as burners. So I'm not planning on paying a lot for them.
So we'll go to Shaq's shop here in a little bit, but I did want to share this.
Ooh, and don't they sell totems there? The
Yes,
mystery
totem passes. Yep.
which is huge. Like that is incredibly quick turnaround. I was shocked at that.
MV Motors is preparing something big. Look at all the basic common cars that they're just cranking out.
Wow, what are the total mints on those? That looks like a more uncommon thing. That's series. So that's just a series T. Yeah, 150. That one's a little bit more. What about like, because that you can tell it's got the pickup. Like, what are the like that series 4? Yeah, the series 4.
300 minutes.
And there's probably what? I mean, at least 3 colors. 4, 5 colors. 3, 4 colors. It's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to look at, honestly.
It's been a while since we had a sale for cars, but yes, they're definitely cranking out the cars.
Goldsmith is speculating that Upland announces stock car pro shops in the very near future. I could definitely see that for sure. That would make sense.
Headed to Shaq's shop.
Shack shop.
She should just call it Shaq shop, but
Shack
that's not what she
shop.
called it.
Shack shop.
Crown jewels.
Crown jewels. Ooh. So, oh dang, get a girl.
Look at that. That's some very nice artwork.
Some toss head artwork right there. That $5? Y'all are crazy. Get out of here. I'm not paying $5 for that crap. Y'all are insane.
Here, I'll wait, where's the filter? Usually it's right there at the top.
$5. Oh, passes. Hold on. $297. What's the cheapest UPX one? 218.
Looking like it.
Man, this is cool. Yeah, y'all are insane on these prices. I would love to know if they're actually selling it anywhere close to that. Because what would that $5 in UPX is what? 5,000 UPX?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay 5,000 UPX for one. I was thinking like 500 UPX. They're garbage. They don't do anything. Y'all are insane. You sold 3 today? Well, good for you. I guess. I mean, that's insane. They're burners, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're never gonna have any functionality. They're just kind of weird, cool things. I'm not financial advice because who knows? Upland could revive them and it could be worth $1 million one day, and I could be completely wrong. But honestly, I feel some people, sure, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they are cool and it is fun. I don't know that. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's it. Maybe I missed my opportunity. Maybe I should not have. Maybe I should not have been just giving away as burners. They are interesting. They're just not. I just don't foresee them having any functionality in the game outside of like random, like collecting things. Maybe they will become wearables. That seems very unlikely. There's no. So here's the thing to keep in mind from Upland's perspective. There's no incentive for them to do anything with them. They've already sold them. Their secondary market, they make a small percentage off of. If they were going, there would be no incentive for them to invest development effort into making that into something more. It just isn't there. They would be making something new. So I honestly, it is an OG legit. It's definitely collectible from a collectible sake. I can appreciate that. And if that's how people are viewing it, and that's why they're not, and that's why they're there, hey, that's awesome. I wish I wouldn't have gotten rid of. I had thousands of them because they're meh. Anyway, collectors you can bring to futures. Yeah, all right, cool. Well, maybe I'll have to up my game. Maybe I will have to. I'm not going to pay USD for them. That's for darn sure. Maybe I would pay 1,000 UpX for the blue ones, but even that seems insane to me now. But
yeah,
we were just giving hundreds of them away. Like that was all we had for burners for a long time. So
absolutely.
And there's I don't know what the total mints on those are, but they're insanely high. I thought they were. I guess I haven't looked at them. The blue ones specifically. The other ones, the Eldritch and the other ones for sure, I can imagine.
Those are collectors, but the common stuff.
This is so... You're anticlimactic. Okay. All right.
Oh.
Hey, apparently the audience completely disagrees with me. Apparently the Spirit Legits are the coolest collectible. They are worth more than wearables. They're worth more than NFLPA. They're worth more than everything. So,
all right.
Millions.
Thanks for going from one side to the other.
I mean, I'm just, there you go. The audience wins. They've won me over. They're invaluable. They are the most collectible piece of anything inside of Upland. If you do not have all of the Spirit Legits, you're so amateur. Rob Zilla says it best, sums it up. They bring all the girls to the yard. So if you indeed want all of the females of Upland to be up in your yard, you better get those. Don't you call me Wrap It Up Dizzy. You get on here. I will bring you. Oh. Spirit, how about you? There you go.
All right. There you go. So the audience does not share the same view as you on these things.
Oh, I was directing you to round up all the... there are so many blue spirits. It will take a while to come around. I burnt so many as burners during early Block Explorer sales. Keep in mint was 800 for blues. Oh, it was 800 UpX for one blue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. God, what were we thinking? That's insane.
I don't know. I don't know.
Upland had our number dialed in back then. I can tell you that. You couldn't pull that past me now. I'd be like, excuse me? What?
All right. So also don't forget the Upland Racing League has their Speedway Men Adventure up and running. 1100 Comstock Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada. So if you like supporting them, definitely go stake some spark to bring that to the game quicker. Also, they have another race tomorrow. I got my money on KO. He's going to win the race. He's going to go from worst to first this week.
Yeah. You think, has he been training?
He says he's been training.
All right.
So I'll take the long shot.
All right.
I'll take the long shot on KO.
This the mints of spirits were more than low NFL, PA, and more than low end FIFAs. Yeah, apparently I didn't realize that. That's really interesting.
But at some point in the game, you're going to have high mint things because you're going to have a large player base you're at 29 cities already, and people are going to be developing their yards and neighborhoods. So sooner or later, some of these things are just going to be common that everybody can dump in their yard.
No, I think what Goldsmith is saying, like the mint cost, right?
Oh, yeah.
The NFLPA essentials were dirt cheap, and the FIFA ones were dirt cheap. So I guess in my mind, the other ones would have been, but maybe they weren't. Yeah. Obviously they weren't because we have the information. So interesting. I might have to update my perspective on it. Good information.
Maybe. We will continue to update the Upland Fantasy League as it progresses throughout the year. We'll see how.
Oh yeah, when Dizzy loses this week.
Is he playing you?
Week 1, boy.
There you go.
About to get wrecked. I don't even know what my team is, but apparently I did real good on auto drafting per usual. So
yeah. And then yes, definitely check out the Upland Racing League. Follow us for the Upland Fantasy League as it goes into year 4. Shaq's interview is up. If you did not get to see Shaq's interview with X1, that is up. Check that out. And if you're interested in playing some fantasy football on Sundays for $5 a pop, go ahead, hit me up in DMs. I'll get you the link to play that and join all the other degenerates.
I mean, if they're playing, if it's head to head against you, it's easy money. So
I like that. Keep encouraging that. Keep encouraging that. Bring it. Oh, there you go. KO's been practicing.
I believe it.
Right,
I wouldn't put it. If the ninjas say that they're going at it, like my money would definitely be on the ninjas. They don't mess around.
Oh, and now he got over cocky. So now I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything before we get out of here this week?
No, not this week.
All right. Get your Halloween spirit legit so you can get all the girls in your yard.
Apparently.
Gambling
degenerates. You're selling for UpX. Come message me. Let's work out a deal. I want to buy them for UpX, but I'm not breaking the bank. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I should have just stayed in Tokyo.
And now he's calling a shot. He says Mass Chef is going down, who destroyed the field in the first race, and he's calling him out. So
what?
You get your legit.
I don't know about Mass Chef. I've heard his the tales of him, his numbers. He's crushing it. So
oh yeah,
if you're coming for the king, you better not miss. Whoo. Oh, dang cheese.
Right, Goldsmith?
No.
Right through you.
So I don't. I know nothing about sports, and that's why I overly brag about my fantasy team, because that's how nonsense fantasy leagues are. That the reigning champion of their league knows nothing about sports, doesn't watch any of the games, and barely knows how the system works. But all you got to do is go, which one's going to get the big numbers? Just put them in. Oh, great. And look, I win. It's not hard. All of the people that are over there oh, well, hold on. I think it's extra rainy in Detroit this week, so I'm going to put in this guy because he trained with the SEAL team. What are you? Shut up. Just do the numbers. It's very easy. Y'all are spending way too much of your life trying to analyze this.
And you didn't do that playing Dungeons and Dragons growing up, or building your magic deck, or working your way through Diablo 4. You were sitting there figuring stuff out.
Those things take skill. So if it actually took skill, I would be impressed. But also, I'm not going to lie. I'm a historically a very much in Magic the Gathering world. I'm what they call a net decker. And that means that I don't waste my time trying to figure it out. I just go online and go, what's the best deck? And then I build that deck. I'm very good at playing the deck. So that is why, no, I'm a net decker. I'm not sitting there I wonder what. No, just give me the best cards. Let's go. I'll beat you at the game because I know my numbers. Just like I beat you all in Fantasy League last year.
Ooh. Goldsmith will sell you orange for $19K UpX each.
Wow. Talk to me. Let me go look at them.
All right. People are now calling. I like it. People are now calling for the buzzer in segments of the show. It's great.
I like that.
I love it. All right. Everybody be safe. Have fun. We'll see you out there in the metaverse. Until next week. Take care.
The Upland Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Xperts, baby, UP.